Wheat and paddy rice are negative grains which human beings should not be eating. By eating rice and wheat over a period of time, you are generating blood pressure to start. Why are you eating only rice?
And causing diabetes?
Heart block. Overall, homeostasis of the blood is the cause of all these modern day diseases. That means when you eat 50 grams of rice, idli, within 15-20 minutes, your blood is flooded with glucose.
The heart disease is the largest cause of deaths in the world.
How many dams, how many forests, how many living things have disappeared because you are eating rice?
Wheat takes about 10,000 liters of water to irrigate. Paddy rice takes about 8,000 to 9,000 liters of water to irrigate. But millets only take 200 liters of water to irrigate.
There are around 200 varieties of millets on this planet. We have lost.
Millets are supposed to be a huge tool in helping people prevent cancer.
Not preventing. You can even cure cancer.
What are some of the other diseases that millets can cure?
Type 1 diabetes, BP, thyroid, you name it. Any disease that you want, we can reverse it.
So if I'm a diabetic, I can have millets and I can reverse my diabetes?
3 months.
Padma Shri Dr. Khadir Vali, popularly known as the Millet Man of India, has worked relentlessly for the past 25 years to bring back millets into the consciousness of human race. A PhD in steroid biochemistry from Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, and a postdoctorate fellow from Oregon Graduate Center, United States, Dr. Khadir worked as a pioneering scientist in the United States before returning to India to establish the role of millets in preventing and curing modern-day diseases.
That's why you have a problem with your PCOD, endometriosis, fibroids, infertility. All that things can be reversed, making you eat little millet. If you continue to eat millets, you will never fall sick. You have a problem with your lungs and nervous system, foxtail millet comes into picture. And you have a problem with your liver, heart, kidney, barnyard millet comes into picture. And you have any problem from mouth to anus.
So next time when I have a sickness, instead of medicine, I should take a millet.
Absolutely.
So dairy consumption is bad? We should not be having milk?
Absolutely. No milk.
Dairy is $1 billion industry.
You are way behind. It is $1 trillion business. And that is the reason why we have now human girls menstruating at the age of 8, 9 average, which was actually 15 years. So that means your gynecological problems are all arising from this single reason. If you stop taking milk, you will wipe out 50% of your diseases. So multigrain.
Yeah, that's also wrong.
This is the concept generated in the Western corporate world. Including your salad, they keep mixing it. And they say olive oil is good for you. Where is this olive oil coming from? The olive trees are not there. Like oils, refined oils. What the hell is going on? Natural oils replenish your living cells.
What are some of the natural oils, sir, that we can consume?
According to me, is supposed to be very shrestha oil. It's supposed to regenerate your neurons in your brains. So you do need carbohydrate. A lot of people have no carbohydrate, low carb, no carb. All these Hangama fellows, they don't know what they're talking.
Dr. Khadir established Hasur Ruhani Clinic, training doctors to use traditional food systems to heal people. He has also trained thousands of farmers on rain-fed agriculture called Jungle Krishi.
No farmer would have the need for committing suicide if only we were to accept these grains as food.
Two biggest causes of cancer is A, excessive consumption of dairy, and 2, excessive consumption of poultry. Does chemotherapy really rectify cancer?
No.
Soybean is also bad?
And it is one of the major reasons for cancerous conditions.
How should we be eating through the day? Like, what should the frequency of the meals be? What are some of the other kitchen utensils that are harmful and we should get rid of?
The best way to cook is in... So when you do it in the steel vessel or aluminum vessel is by nature not good for you. Don't drink coffee and tea, you will vanish the global warming.
People say tea is medicine.
No, not at all. It makes your nerves so much weak that many people have got.
Walking is better than running.
Of course.
A recipient of several awards, including the prestigious Padma Shri, it is our honor to have with us on today's health episode of the Body to Being podcast for the very first time the legend himself, Padma Shri Dr. Khadir Vali.
We have been made to lose. It's a very well planned system The establishment has planned to see that the whole world's food methods, food materials have been destroyed.
I've just finished recording this podcast and I feel so overwhelmed. This is the power of a good conversation. I still cannot believe that I've had the chance to interview this legend. This podcast imparts so much wisdom that I can promise you this much. By the end of it, you will know the lies about food and water that has been sold to you all your life. Do watch the video till the end, and if you haven't already, I'd be very grateful if you can subscribe to the channel. Pranam. Namaskaram.
Namaste.
Dr. Khadir Vali, the Millet Man of India. This is one of my dream podcasts. I am truly privileged and honored to have you on this platform. So thank you so much for gracing us. Sir, I'd like to begin by asking why take up the cause of millets?
Because human race has lost its way in the way they are eating, the way they chose their food, all in the name of science and development. But what has happened is it's all business. As a scientist, for me, it was very tough to accept that a business concept has changed the food of human race in the last 100 years, and it has to be put back into nature's lap. This is the only reason why I have taken up cause of millets. It is the C4 grasses, that is, the millets belong to this group of plants where the photosynthesis happens very differently from all the other plants that we know. And most of the planet Earth, apart from the oceans and water, is occupied by C4 grasses. All over the planet, anywhere and everywhere, even if there is no water, these grasses can go.
Okay.
And that is one of the primary characteristics of C4. That means there is no need for water to grow.
So millets are a part of the C4 category,
C4 grasses.
which do not need water.
Basically. And your rice and wheat are C3 grasses. That means you give water, they grow. And this has huge implication because only if you have water, you can grow rice and wheat.
Correct.
Whereas millets, you don't need water, you can grow. That means you can grow food anytime, anywhere. This is the difference. And so this is on a large scale the reason why you should eat millets.
Environmentally friendly.
Absolutely. Not friendly. It's beyond that. It makes the environment replenish because you have something that can not disturb the nature and grow and make things happen. So it fixes carbon dioxide, which is there, that every living thing releases, and you have here someone who can just absorb it and convert it into food for you. No other thing required. It has everything built in. That means what? Self sustainable.
I had had the pleasure of reading one of your books. You mentioned there that wheat takes about 10,000 liters of water to irrigate. Paddy rice takes about 8,000 to 9,000 liters of water to irrigate, but millets only take 200 liters of water to irrigate.
Yes.
Wow. So traditionally, paddy rice, and wheat were only grown in those regions where water was abundant.
Absolutely.
But today it's been grown everywhere, even in those places where water is not abundant.
That's because of corporatization of food. You have mining, you build dams, collect water, and then make arrangements to shift the water to these lands in the name of irrigation. And then you are growing rice and wheat because the corporatization of food requires that they use their products like fertilizers, pesticides of different kinds, and then grow them in large quantities, store them in godowns, and use preservatives, fungicides. This is a huge vicious cycle. So, centralizing the food, and then while doing this in the name of science, you have what is called patent culture, that the food that could be grown by farmers independently and freely now is in the hands of corporates in the name of patents. They have taken away the rights of the seeds of the farmers. Now farmers have been converted into laborers of these corporate companies. Earlier farmers were independent, sovereign. This is the difference. So this is what actually has been planned by corporates. rice and wheat is the only thing that every human being now is eating.
Exactly.
I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's the most unscientific thing.
Yes.
You cannot even grow properly. And now everyone thinks, when I go to even remote villages, even tribal people think food is rice and wheat.
Yep.
So what it means is in the 100 years, they have just devastated, disseminated all the food practices, food materials, even the seeds of the olden times, the ancestral grains have been completely destroyed. Untold damage. And it's painful as a scientist for me to see that no one even talks about it,
Yes.
even today.
Yes.
This is the reason why I embarked on millets. I said, at least let me just bring back the word millets into the human consciousness. We have lost, this is the word these experts keep using even today. We have lost somehow.
Hmm.
No, we have been made to lose. It's a very well planned system. Not even a single institute to do research on millets exists.
Really?
Yes, only recently in the last 8-10 years, I've been running around all over South India, the whole world. People keep claiming this Western scientists, and for them, for their eyes, millets are not only food; they are not even worth doing some research. Incredible, isn't it? The
Absolutely.
most unscientific thing that a scientist can do is not even explore.
Yes. Just like you said, sir, the consumption of paddy rice and wheat has become so rampant that there are a majority of the people who have never even tasted millets in their life.
95 people don't even know the names of millets. Forget about tasting.
So, what about people who say, but our ancestors always ate rice and wheat, so what is the problem?
Yeah, your ancestors are only 2 generations down. I'm talking about millions of generations. So, millions of generations of human race ate millets.
There was no rice and wheat?
There is rice and meat all the time. But as you in the upfront told, it cannot be grown the way it is grown now. So, it used to be grown. Say, if I grew 1,000 tons of millets, maybe 10 or 15 tons of rice was grown. And do you know the amount of rice grown now
No.
on yearly basis? 800 million tons. And wheat, 900 million tons. Millets,
Hmm.
30 million tons. So this gives you the way things are. So naturally available food system is completely disseminated and unnatural artificial system is established. And people like you, young people, I mean, I don't know, what's your age, Shloka?
Guess.
No, I don't.
34.
Okay.
And I eat millets 2 times a day.
Yeah. So imagine 34-year-old woman asked this question that my ancestors ate rice. That means the education, the whole system of education has failed to tell you what was our food. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
This is where things are.
I haven't read the word millets in my school textbooks.
Absolutely. That's what we are talking about.
What about people who say that millets may not be that nutritious and rice and wheat are more nutritious? Can you tell us about this?
Absolutely. They don't know what they're talking. It's like Christ said, God, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. That's the exact word I can use for the people who say these things. I mean, I know nowadays there are a lot of experts saying don't eat millets, eat only this much, don't touch them. It will give you constipation. All these kinds of experts who have not even touched the millets, or as you said, they don't even know the full breadth and width of what millets are. They pack nutrients, they pack the most important thing that is needed for full health of a human being, not only human being, for any living thing on this planet. And these are the grains that have been blessed by God, the only cleaning capacity of any living cell, where it matters. Talking too much deep into science, but this is what happens with millets.
Okay.
So the EMF is wiped out because of huge PMF, proton motive force, blessed by God due to its structural aromatic matured fiber. So the origin of the disease is dealt with, and only materials in the nature that have this capacity is millets and its fibers. Apart from being blessed with all nutrients that a living system requires. So you have a group of millets that we can do research, more research. Right now I have done on 5 millets, around 200 kinds of, varieties of millets on this planet. We have lost almost all of them.
Oh, like extinct.
Extinct. Of course, there have been ragi, jowar, and bajra still existing in our country. Many of the tribal peoples using for their animal feed and things like that, large quantities. Whatever the millets that are grown on this planet are actually from India, most of it. 95% of it, even today. So Rajasthan and Gujarat area grow jowar and bajra, a lot of it, and Karnataka, Andhra, little bit of Ragi, Odisha, some tribal people are growing. And people who are away from the civilization, many of them continue to eat Ragi, Jowar, and it is called primitive food and it is called animal feed. By whom? By
Corporates.
these green revolution experts.
Millets are much more nutritious than our
Absolutely.
wheat and paddy rice.
No, wheat and paddy rice are negative grains which human beings should not be eating.
Oh, they're negative.
Absolutely.
Second, they are more environmental friendly and sustainable.
I would like to differentiate. This environmental friendly is a very big corporate word.
Okay.
Replenishing the environment.
Okay.
Lost environmental wellness can be rebuilt. In the sense, if you understand it correctly, it is the element in nature which can replenish the environment. Because of living things on this planet disturb the environment. So who will correct it? The cycle has to be complete all the time. So by using the word environmental friendly to millets, you are doing injustice. Because these are the element created by God to replenish the nature in case now an elephant comes or a cow comes and grazes. It has spoiled the environment. It just destroyed some part of nature.
Correct.
So who would rebuild it? Millets are the rebuilding units. You can replenish the lost soils once you have the C4 grasses growing. And that's what nature does. Keeps replenishing. I hope I'm making sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it replenishes the soil. The second point. The third is it can be grown anywhere because
Anywhere.
it needs less water.
And the range is 10 degrees to 45 degrees. You can grow it 10 degrees, you can grow in 45 degrees
Okay, temperature.
temperature. Your rice and wheat go off in 25, 30. If beyond 35, it's gone.
Mm. And I think even in cancer prevention, millets are supposed to be a huge tool in helping people prevent cancer. Am I right?
Not prevent. You can even cure cancer. When you can remove the disease cause at the root level,
Okay.
then you have all the time for the cell to replenish.
What are some of the other diseases that millets can cure?
Type 1 diabetes, BP, thyroid, you name it, any disease that you want, we can reverse it.
We can reverse it.
Yes.
So if I'm a diabetic, I can have millets and I can reverse my diabetes.
3 months. If you follow strictly the protocols, in the sense, don't eat rice, don't eat wheat, don't eat your so called dry fruits, and all these things can instigate disease in your body. So if you have millets and it's healing fibers floating in your blood, replenishing takes place. I hope you understand the word replenishing here. Now it is replenishing your
System.
your organelles, your living cells, because every moment your living cells die and new ones have to come up, like your red blood cells die in 3 months and then new ones are built up. So in the rebuilding process, you have the right materials and strong ones, you build up healthy bodies. So even if you have a cancer patient, we rebuild in 3 months. So around 3 cycles, maybe 9 months, if you follow the protocol, you're good to go. There is a little amount of fiber in rice, that is 0.2 grams. It is on the top layer of the grain. So once you remove the husk, there is no fiber at all.
Can you please explain to the viewers the removal of the husk from the rice?
Yes,
And
yes.
what is millets in comparison to that?
Yes. Okay. There are grains which have husk and there are grains which do not have husk. Like wheat does not have husk. Bajra, pearl millet, does not have husk. Jowar does not have husk. Whereas paddy rice has a husk. So you cannot take paddy rice and put it in cooker, or you can keep cooking however much time you want. You don't get something that you can eat. So you have to remove the husk for paddy rice. And then you get a grain. Whereas wheat, you can just take like that, you can break it and then cook, because the husk that is there on the grain is not palatable for you. Even if you cook, you cannot digest it because it's too much of fiber, the fiber that you cannot digest. That's the difference. Whereas millets are also like that. There are grains which have the dehusking to be done, and there are grains which you don't need to dehusk, like ragi. And there are many millets. So some have husk, some do not have husk. And most of the major millets, that means the size of the grain is a little more than a millimeter. We call them major millets. Millet word itself means that milli, very small grains, whereas rice and wheat are big grains. When you eat 50 grams of rice idli, within 15-20 minutes, your blood is flooded with glucose. So your blood has to maintain the homeostasis. Homeostasis means balance of glucose. So you should not cross beyond certain amount of glucose in your bloodstream. That is 5 grams. Whole of your blood can have approximately 5 grams of glucose. If it goes beyond that, your blood becomes thick. And that's where the disease begins. Because the blood is the one which has to be supplied to each and every nook and corner of your body. And who does that? The pumping of the blood is done by the heart. So now you have a liquid which is being pumped thoroughly into each and every nook and corner, each and living cell is getting. Now, by eating rice, what you have done? You have made the blood thick. So now who faces instant problem is the heart. It has to pump a thickened fluid now into this living cells. And that's where you start building so-called blood pressure. So by eating rice and wheat over a period of time, you are generating blood pressure to start with. Then because this fellow is pumping, what happens? Scaling happens. Because in a tube, if you are pumping a liquid, whatever is dissolved slowly starts scaling onto the walls of the same thing happens to the blood vessels. So if they are around your heart where there are curvature, arteries and veins. So when you have a curved tube, you have more deposits. And that's how you start having blocks, heart blocks. So this is second stage of heart problem. BP is not a serious problem, but then when you have this blockages happening, it becomes second degree. And now because of that, the pumping of this muscular movement becomes more tough. So now you have problem shifted to the heart itself, heart muscles. Then it is the muscular electric signals going haywire. You see how just by thickening blood, you are building up these diseased conditions.
And no wonder heart disease is the
Absolutely.
largest cause of deaths in the
Death,
world.
yeah. Because you are eating something that is encouraging this, and the experts are not talking about it. So now what if I have a grain which does not release glucose
Yeah.
the way these two grains are releasing? And who can do that in a slow and steady fashion? The grains that have been built in mechanism of regulating the release of glucose. Who has that? Maximum is the minor millets. It is the minor millets that I can now tell you, which I have worked
Sure.
the last 25 years, 30 years, is the Kodo millet, barnyard millet, brown top millet, little millet, and foxtail millet. These five millets have got enough fiber. Foxtail millet has got 8%, Kodo millet has got 9%, brown top millet has got 12.5%, barnyard millet has got 10%, little millet has got 9.8% fiber. In this amount of each grain having good amount of fiber has the capacity to hold the carbohydrate not to be released into your bloodstream. So the release of glucose is slow and steady, regulated, never crossing the 5 grams threshold value of your blood. So homeostasis of the blood is maintained 24 into 7. Now what about this ragi, jowar? They do have this fiber. Structure is very similar in the sense it is associated with the carbohydrate, but there is not enough fiber. Finger millet has 3.6, and the remaining all other millets that we are talking about, proso millet, great millet, and pearl millet, they have below 2, 2.7, 2.2, like that. So that means this is a group of millets that I have grouped them and put them as neutral grains. That means they neither cause you trouble or cannot be, they don't have enough wherewithal to remove any sickness if it is there.
Okay.
So obviously now you understand that I am having a parameter to group the grains, rice and wheat, which do not have any mechanism to hold off glucose into your bloodstream.
And which are negative.
That is the reason scientifically why they are negative. And that is the reason why human race should not have been eating these two grains. And they were not eating. For time immemorial, people didn't eat because it was not available. And it is these corporate companies made it available and make sure that all the grains that were used in the human race from time immemorial, all parts of the world have been removed, which should have been the other way around because they didn't do any work. It's because they want to promote this, they started this way.
And sell their pesticides
And
and
sell their
fertilizers.
pesticides, all this, I told you the vicious
And
cycle.
cause farmer suicides, correct?
I don't want to even go into that domain. I'm a scientist. I'm telling you, you are becoming sick because you are eating what these guys have asked you to eat, and you have not asked a single question. And the next question that you asked is the societal implications, which we will talk about it. But I'm now talking about the sheer science of these grains, and the science of millets should have been the topmost point that the human race should have discussed. No farmer would have had the need for committing suicide if only we were to accept these grains as food. This has become no food. That means 95% of the farmers could have grown this and eaten and be done with this. See, this is the damage, and no one is talking about.
You know, even the rice that we're eating is predominantly not the black rice and the red rice, and the brown rice very lately is coming into vogue, but it's the traditional white rice. And the same thing holds true with salt. We're eating white salt, we're eating white sugar. I want you to talk to us about refinement. What is refinement and why is this happening?
Refinement is a corporate process
Why?
because they can make money.
How?
Yeah, by centralizing the processes and then patenting and say that this is the thing, this is the quality, this is good for you. So all the naturally available methods and processes are looked down upon as
Backward.
not scientific, not. This is exactly what has been going on in the last 100 years. Like oils, refined oils. I mean, what the hell is going on? We are being served all the oils that are unnatural, and bull driven ghani oils are the real oils in its true sense. But then in the period of 1980s to 95 or so in India, I remember very well that, oh, these oils are not in having quality, you need to have quality, there is no standard. And slowly and steadily, the whole India, we had thousands and thousands of bull driven kachigani oils completely out of sight now. And they say olive oil is good for you. Where is this olive oil coming from? The olive trees are not there.
Yeah. Where is the olive oil coming
Where
from?
is the olive tree? Forget about olive oil.
Sure.
But then we have no questions to ask. All this corporatization of oils,
Is it also to increase the shelf life?
that's one of the reasons they give.
Okay. And it tastes better is the other reason?
It doesn't taste better because you have not tasted the real one. You are taking drops of oils from the plastic sachets. So the taste that you are getting is also the plastic nanoparticles. Because they're stored for months together and then you are getting shelf life, means they have added preservatives, because natural oils replenish your living cells.
What are some of the natural oils, sir, that we can consume?
Coconut oil.
Okay.
Means there are enough coconuts that are grown by God in the backwaters of all over the planet. So if there are good scientific policies, coconut oil can be supplied to not 7 billion, even 70 billion people. That much. So it's going waste. And of course, there are wonderful oil seeds traditionally in our country. Even in very dry lands, we can grow ramtil, that's Niger seed, which is one of the most beautiful, nutritious, and very healing oils. And of course, we have til. I mean, among the oils, one of the best is
Sesame oil.
sesame oil. I mean, throughout the continents, the culturally sesame seed is used because it has the highest calcium, the seeds, 10 grams per kilogram. Oil seeds locally are many. Groundnuts in the Deccan Plateau, Niger seeds, then safflower. I'm talking about Indian context. And you could go to different continents and different seeds are available even now. Mm, but they all have been wiped out. Not only from the planet, many places, even from the consciousness of human race, that people don't know that they existed.
Sir, what about sugar? Everyone knows that white sugar is not good for you, but you also go to the extent of saying that jaggery is not good for you.
Yeah, anything that releases glucose immediately into your bloodstream. I'm telling rice is bad, wheat is bad. It takes 15 to 30 minutes. Whereas jaggery takes 4 or 5 minutes. Even the absorption of glucose is happening in your mouth itself,
And it's cultivated from sugarcane.
of course,
And you say sugarcane is not good for you. Can you tell us why?
because it has 50% to 60% of its sucrose is made of glucose molecules. So you are flooding your blood with glucose.
So, sugarcane juice that is sold
Yes,
as good for
yes.
health is not good for health.
No, yeah, certainly not good for health. But there are certain conditions wherein the sugar, rather glucose sponge, helps killing some bad microbes like liver infections. Sometimes this that can be reversed. So a huge sugar shock can help you come out of particular diseased conditions. In that case, it is good. But you are not in that condition all the time. Say you have what is called jaundice and things
Yeah.
like that. That times you have this big sugar shock 2 3 times, your liver takes life again immediately. That's the kind of, it's a kind of treatment.
Okay. But it's not something
It's
that you
not
have every
something,
day.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not your regular daily consuming food material.
What are some of the good alternatives to sugar?
Sweet. See, sugar is a very generalized term, sucrose.
Correct.
And sucrose can be various ratios. You have glucose sisters like maltose, fructose, lactose. These are all again C6 units which have the taste buds same, giving you sweet taste, but they have no receivers in our body. Our living cells do not recognize these sugars. Glucose is the living, life giving monomer of carbohydrates. So the recognition of glucose, we have special arrangements like insulin. That fellow doesn't allow any glucose molecule to go out, because the living systems know that glucose can be burnt and we get energy, living energy comes. So glucose is a prime product. I mean, it's something which every living cell wants it, so they have their arrangements. Fructose based sweetness can be a good alternative for human beings because it is not recognized and it doesn't disturb your homeostasis. But still you get the, I mean, our taste buds cannot distinguish glucose, fructose, maltose, everything tastes sweet for you.
What about stevia?
Stevia is a leaf that has nothing to
But is
do.
stevia a good sweetener?
No, it is an aromatic sweetener.
Okay.
It's okay once in a
Okay.
while, but it should not be on a regular basis.
Sugar free?
Yeah, sugar free, but it's not good for you on a long run.
I mean the sugar free tablets that people use
They
in
are
their
dangerous.
drinks.
They are dangerous.
Yeah.
They are chemicals. Instead, I would say eat sugar.
Really?
Yeah. You want to eat sweet, you please eat sugar. Don't go for sugar free chemicals. I mean, once in a while you want to eat, you eat sugar only. That's better than eating those.
My father is diabetic. He takes a sugar free tablet every day in his
No,
tea.
let him take palm jaggery.
Okay.
You see the.
Yes.
Whereas inside once goes, glucose is specially invited, specially managed. The whole human system is designed for glucose. Everything is from glucose. And that's why, in fact, we name this is the most sattvic food. In 2 dimensions, I use the word sattvic because to generate this food, you are not hurting a single living thing on this planet. And what is sattvic nature? To propagate life and not to make anyone suffering. Even pain should not be caused. And that is the definition of sattvic. So now imagine you are eating tons of rice. You are really not eating sattvic food
Correct.
in that domain,
Mm.
in that definition.
Mm.
Because to produce rice, you have topsy-turvy, a lot of mountains produce dams, and then the so much forest is lost. That means lakhs of living things have been disseminated because you are eating rice. So all this sattvic, oh, I eat only vegetables, I eat only. According to me, you are not sattvic. If you are eating rice, you are not sattvic, because the production of rice is causing enormous damage to life forms on this planet. 800 million tons of rice. Imagine how many dams, how many forests, how many living things have disappeared because you are eating rice. And then eating rice is creating havoc in your glucose levels, and then the generation of disease, the generation of irritation, it's called inflammation. Mitochondrial oxidative stress, it is called, because to burn glucose you need oxygen, and then when you're burning glucose you create stress, and that is felt by mitochondria every day, day in and day out. I'm now moving my hand like this, I'm using burning glucose, making ATP. So oxidative stress is created. So who quenches the oxidative stress? It is the PMF, the beautiful distribution of aromatic electrons available in the fiber called lignons, they're called.
Present in millets.
Millets, millet fiber, duly associated with the carbohydrate. So you do need carbohydrate. A lot of people are no carbohydrate, low carb, no carb. All these Angama fellows, they don't know what they're talking. Our primary metabolism is carbohydrate metabolism. It is the glucose burning that gives energy, whether it is an elephant or what do you call timingal, whale or lion or your rat or a small bird. Every living cell burns glucose to get energy. So no carbs, low carbs, keto, puto, or whatever it is. It's all absolutely unscientific, because it is the oxidative stress that is the sickness. So can I clean that up? Millets have a lot of carbs, and that's what many people think. Oh, you should not eat it because it's already carbohydrates. But it is not carbohydrate. It is special carbohydrate associated with fiber. It is not low carb. It is slow carb. SLOW.
Slow release of sugar.
Slow release.
Glucose.
You need glucose. There is no escape out of that. So you cannot say, I will eat meat. You have only protein. You will have trouble because glucose is to be produced. So there is enormous stress on you to make glucose, because it's only glucose that can be burnt. You eat fat. Fat cannot be burnt. It has to be broken down into glucose or converted into glucose. Then only you can get energy. So it is the slow carb and cleaning which are both available in millets. And that's why it has been the food for humans from time immemorial. Not thousands of years, lakhs of years. Lakhs of years. I mean, it's such a pleasure to unravel these scientific paths. It's amazing. It's amazing. So if you ask me why are you working, I get pleasure. I mean, it's just God's deep secrets. Incredible. And he has done it so nonchalantly. And we, with our, I shouldn't be making people angry by using the word.
Go ahead.
I mean, with our nonsensical business attitude, we have taken away this absolutely wonderful natural fruits from human race, and then eating something absolutely unscientific and making ourselves sick. This is what has happened.
And calling what is good for you
Yes.
as cattle food.
Cattle food.
I mean, what you're giving to your cow is actually what you should be eating.
Even today, you go to America, Colorado, they are producing enough brown top millet. They use brown top millet, which is just 12.5%. And what they write, FDA writes on them, not for human consumption, bird feed. And then they look at that, and all over the world, all the so-called scientific organizations, they say brown top millet is bird feed. But on the contrary, it is one of the most beautiful fibers that can clean up from mouth to the anus, the human system.
Sir, I'd like to touch upon another topic that you mentioned, which is dairy consumption.
Yeah, that is nothing to do with millets.
Yeah.
But in one particular stage, I would like to tell you that little millet can clean up the mess created by dairy consumption.
So dairy consumption is bad? We should not be having milk?
Absolutely. No milk.
Even A2 cow milk, no?
There is no A2, A1 is all created by us. There is only A2. Why A2 we call a desi cow, we call A2. In fact, these Europeans and Americans don't have cows. There are no cows in their geographical places. They actually borrowed or stole one from us and then created these so-called HF Jersey cows.
Hybrid cows.
Not hybrid, beyond that. Genetically modified cows that each cow can be impregnated with in vitro fertilization. Of late, you are watching IVF centers for humans also, the same technology with little variations, so that they can impregnate each and every cow, so that every cow gives a baby, and then they can get milk from each and every cow. In nature, if you have 1,000 cows, only 100 or 150 cows give birth on a regular basis. All 1,000 cows do not give birth.
Correct.
But for them, it is business. It's difficult. If you have to feed 1,000 cows and only 100 cows give milk, the 900 cows have to be maintained. Oh, that's not right. I mean, commerce and economics doesn't say it is the right way of doing it. So every cow has to give baby, and every cow has to be supplying milk, and that too with steroid and antibiotics use. They make each and every cow give you 25 to 30 liters of milk, and that's how the dairy has been taken birth. So now you have this milk unnaturally produced. That means you have the residues of steroids. And as such, even in cow's milk, the balance of steroids is meant for the sustainable, correct growth of the calf. Human women give milk to whom? To the baby.
Yeah.
So cow gives milk to whom?
To their babies.
Calf.
Yeah.
So why are you taking the cow's milk and putting in your baby's mouth? Your baby grows this much in 6 months. Calf grows this much. That means the steroid balance required for that growth is different from the steroid balance that is growing your baby. And that is the reason why we have now human girls menstruating at the age of 8, 9 average, which was actually 15 years. The only and only reason is human race started drinking this milk.
I got my period at 11.
Can you
Which
believe
is-
that? You are 4 years. Now we have girls coming into the clinic at 8 years. And there was actually one or two rare cases, even at 4 years, girls are getting menstruation. And what more danger you want to create? So that means your gynecological problems are all are arising from this single reason.
Milk.
Milk. MILK. So what I am trying to communicate is, if you stop taking milk, you will wipe out 50% of your diseases. See, it's all business. Corporatization of food. Now you are drinking milk left and right. As if that is not enough, you are concentrating them paneer, cheese, whatnot.
Correct. So that they also become bad.
Of course, they are 10
Cheese.
times more bad. So if you drink 1 liter milk, you eat 10 grams of paneer, it is one and the same. So they are finding ways and means to make you eat or make you use more and more milk products. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they are charging. I mean, it's a huge business proposition. It is not good for you, or but on top of it, they keep telling milk has calcium.
Correct.
Where is calcium in milk? Only 900 milligrams is there, and it is not available for you. You cannot even absorb properly. So this is scientific myth that milk is good for you. Forget about milk is good. Milk is complete food. There, that's how they are
Yes.
communicating
Yes.
to you.
I just read a study, sir, where it was said that two biggest causes of cancer, and you can tell me how right this is. Two biggest causes of cancer is A, excessive consumption of dairy, and two, excessive consumption of poultry.
Yeah, both are same. They are not two things. You are feeding the same animal feed, soybean and genetically modified corn. They both are mixed, and all animals on this planet are fed the same, whether it is chickens or pigs or cows. These three animals are used for meat
Correct.
all over the world. Of course, in some countries, some people eat cats, some people eat dogs, some people eat snakes, and that's in very small quantities. But overall, I mean, it's like mountainous amounts of chicken,
Mm.
and each year 92 billion pigs are slaughtered for human consumption. And I think 280 billion chickens are slaughtered, and I think 140 billion cows are slaughtered, and all are produced by feeding soybean and pop this corn, genetically modified corn mix of the animal feed all over the world.
Soybean is also bad?
Oh, 1600 million tons is produced with a huge herbicide use, tons and tons. And in fact, the herbicide used for soybean is found in the blood stream of penguins in South Pole. And it is one of the major reasons for cancerous conditions.
So soy milk also then becomes bad.
Absolutely. Anything soy is danger for you. You should mark it with big red dot. Soya means it's worse than pig meat for you.
And these days we see in the name of vegan milk, soy
Yeah,
milk
yeah.
is being promoted.
Absolutely. Very wrong. Very wrong. Very, very wrong.
So how do we get our calcium if not through milk? What are some of the good alternative sources?
Millets. Finger millet has 4 times more calcium, and our till has 10 times more calcium. I mean, it's so wonderful. I mean, God has been so kind. He has given everything, but we have been misled by the corporates. Very simple. So there is absolutely no fear. Not for 7 billion, for 70 billion people. Today, you can have enough calcium, enough everything. No worry. It's just our choices have gone wrong. Food, I can give for 150 billion people. If only you want to choose millets. Well, I can grow in 2 seasons anywhere and everywhere. And land is lying free because everyone thinks that this land is useless. Give me that. I'll produce food. I mean, anywhere is food bowl for us. I can produce ragi milk, coconut milk. I mean, coconuts are plenty. Anywhere, anyone can. In fact, you don't need fridge. You don't need any damn thing. Just keep a coconut. Whenever your baby cries, get your coconut. Just take a mortar and pestle, just scratch it, just and put it water. You have milk ready to give to your baby. You don't need stove. You don't need any damn thing. You just need two stones, one moss and pestle.
Non-vegetarian food is not meant for us. But what about people who say, how do I get my daily protein intake or daily calcium intake if I don't take non-vegetarian
This
food?
is the myth again. As I told you, that protein is not your metabolic fuel. It is the body that is built to burn glucose. So you need only to build your body, and it is not an too much. It's only 5% protein you require. So your mitochondria has to be rebuilt. You need only 5% of protein, nothing more than that. And there is enough protein in your millets. Your foxtail millet has got 11%. Your brown top millet has got 12% of protein. And each and every millet has got beyond 6% protein.
So my daily protein
Is
intake can be easily
absolutely
met through
not,
millets.
yeah, beyond.
Okay.
Beyond. And then someone wants to push up and
Yeah,
do that. Even
correct. Athletes.
athletes, so, oh, you need more protein.
Yeah.
Absolutely no problem. Just eat millets enough. And beyond that, the real protein is built up by dicots. They're called dicots, legumes, tur dal, chana dal, moong dal, rajma beans. They are the plants that accumulate 24%, up to 24 to 30%. In fact, soya bean is chosen for that reason, the protein. They have genetically modified and made it up to 30% protein. You don't need that much protein. In fact, excess protein leads your kidney failure because it is the kidney and liver that has to manage this excess protein processing. So you need right amount of protein. The balance is what is more important to be healthy. It is not high low. It is the balance. You need to have balance, and that balanced food production and release is what makes your life easy and good. So where is protein produced? Not in the animals. Animals don't produce any protein. It is they consume. So deer eats the grass, C4 grasses all around, and it gets its protein apart from legumes like moong dal, all this. There are many more legumes that are there in the forest which we do not even know. There are 18,000 varieties of legumes. So you need to build your proteins. You cannot eat an animal protein and say, I'm getting protein. It has made for protein for itself, its sequence.
So his protein I'm not getting.
You are not getting. You have to break it and then again rearrange, which is a
Okay.
huge task for you because we don't have
Oh.
enough enzymes. That's why I say non-vegetarian food is not for you. Whereas we have enzymes, we have wherewithal to assimilate the plant protein. Our enzyme system is that. And it is the fibrous food that can inhabit or make symbiotic bacteria grow in your gut. And that's what fills the gap. I told you energy level, micro level, and macro level. That micro processes are actually controlled by your gut microbes. Millets come in this dimension also, that they can harbor the right microbes in your gut. And that's why we have devised a concept called Ambali, which is our ancestral method. You ferment the fibrous grains, make thin porridge, put it in mud pot, tie a cloth, and keep it for 8 hours for fermentation, wherein the microbes come and inhabit. That you drink, your guts get enriched with these wonderful microbes that can do the micro domain work for you. Because our living cells cannot adapt fast, takes time. Whereas the microbes, taka, 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 they can change, and then, okay, you need this. So you'll go and change himself and then come back and say, I'm ready to do this work. That's the importance of gut microbes. So much so that it can even control your brain, gut brain axis. So the
Okay.
chemicals your brain requires, these are the guys who make. You think your brain, you're thinking, but even your thinking depends on this fellow. And there also millets come into play because it is the mix of this fibrous carbohydrate which generates this. And we have been killing them by eating non-fibrous grain, which kills. If sugar is more in your bloodstream, symbiotic bacteria die, pathogenic bacteria rise. There are a lot of trends now. Nowadays, I have seen nutrition. Oh, put your rice, ferment it, put water and drink in the morning. It is probiotic,
Yeah.
prebiotic. All these words are all trendy. The only thing that matters is, do you have diversified bacteria in your gut? Who will do that? Only millets, ganji, fiber, fermented ganji. Fermented porridge can do this job. Ambali. We call in South India ambali. North India, they call basi, rabdi. And the true form of making is very simple. Take 1 spoon of siridhanya. We have named these positive
Yeah.
grains as
These
siridhanya.
5 millets.
5 millets. I am the one who gave the
Yeah.
name siridhanya.
Yeah.
Positive grains. Take 1 spoon, soak it in 8 times or 10 times more, approximately half liter. In fact, 20 times also is good for you. As thin, the better, because oxygen can enter and microbes can come. And to make that possible, you need to put it in a mud pot only. You cannot put in steel vessel and say I'm making ambali, because steel vessel doesn't allow the oxygen to get in, allow the microbes to get in. So you put it in a mud pot, soak it for 8 hours. Why do we need to soak the
Yeah.
grain?
Yeah.
There is fiber in it. Fiber
Okay.
is dehydrated, so you hydrate it.
Okay.
So once you hydrate, the fiber opens up, then you can cook it.
So I should always
Soak.
soak my millets first before eating?
Yes, not eating, before cooking.
Before cooking.
After cooking,
Correct.
you have to eat.
Correct.
So soak for 8 hours if it is a full grain. If it is broken millet, you can soak for 5 hours. And if it is powdered flour,
Yeah.
you have to still soak 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
Soaking is a must.
If I don't soak, is it a problem?
Yes, it is a problem because
Okay.
you cannot digest.
Okay.
Because the unsoaked, unhydrated fiber doesn't allow carbohydrate to be even digested.
Okay.
It's not allowing you, it is holding it.
I wasn't soaking my millets.
That's why you have a problem. Many people do this and
Okay.
then they end up, oh, I'm feeling heat. That's the problem. So that's what I said. The methods also have been vanished. Because you're all thinking, oh, millets are good. Someone said, Dr. Khadir said, take the millets, go and put it in the cooker, push, push, you're done. You think outside it is cooked little bit and you eat. To eat it is okay. But on inside, the macro and micro processes are now not coordinated, you see. You have a problem there. So soaking is a must. But then we are in such a time zone now. We are all ordering Zomato,
Yeah.
Swiggy. We have no time to even
Yeah.
for Zomato fellow to bring. If it is 3 minutes late,
Yeah. Yeah.
you say I will not pay.
Yes.
I mean that's the kind of
Urgency.
urgency created by the
Corporates.
corporatization and urbanization.
Yes.
This is the problem.
Immediate gratification.
Immediate gratification. And that mentally you have to be de-brainwashed. Take time, relax, enjoy your food, enjoy your life.
Which reminds me, sir, you also mentioned that you shouldn't mix millets.
Yeah.
Why?
That's because of the nature of the fiber, which cleans up different parts of your body. You have a problem with your PCOD, endometriosis, fibroids,
Infertility.
infertility. All that things can be reversed by making you eat little millet. Now you have a problem with your lungs and nervous system. Foxtail millet comes into picture. And you have a problem with your liver, heart, kidney. Barnyard millet comes into picture. And you have any problem from mouth to anus, brown top millet comes into picture. I have told you already this. And now you have Kodo millet, which is in your bone marrow and blood circulation, all this toxic material can be cleaned up by the fibers of Kodo millet.
So next time when I have a sickness, instead of medicine, I should take a millet.
Absolutely, you're coming into the right understanding. Now imagine, oh, Dr. Khadir said Kodo millet is good, brown top is good, barnyard is good. I'll mix everything and eat. So I should be all right. You may be all right to start with. But then the amount of fiber required to clean up your digestive system is now 5 times less every day. So your digestive system is not getting cleaned up completely. Now your little millet is also 5 times less now every day. That's also not cleaned up regularly. So the PMF is not matching. So you are disturbing by mixing them. Now, if I ask you to eat 2 or 3 days little millet, your reproductive system is cleaned and then it takes some more time for a week or so to accumulate again. So you are good. Now, if I eat foxtail millet for 3 days, my nerves and lungs are clean. You are good for 5 to 10 days. So now in that rotation, now I keep changing and eating. Now I'm maintaining the balance of all the organs. And that's why you need to eat millets individually. In fact, that's how God does. I mean, okay, strawberry is good for you in northern hemisphere. It doesn't give you every day. There is a season. So when you eat strawberries in that season, some particular part gets cleaned up. Again, cucumber is good for heart. So you eat when cucumber is available, isn't it?
Correct.
So that's how nature diversified things. But then what happened here in this particular market oriented living of humans? You go to a flour mill, give barnyard, give foxtail, give everything you are processing. At the end of the day, the flour mill fellow has got 2 tons left over, which is mix. Now, for him, it is free. He wants to make money. He will say multi millet flour. So he'll pack and give you. And you think multi millets are good. So multi grain.
Yeah, that's
And
also wrong.
this is the concept generated in the Western corporate world,
Oh.
including your salad. They keep mixing.
Yeah.
They make ice
Fruits.
cream, fruits, everything.
What is the problem, sir, with a fruit platter, like
Yeah,
mixing
you're
fruits?
mixing. Nothing is going to help you in a long run. No. So if you eat mango, mango pulp and the mango layer has got wonderful medicinal value of gallic acid, which is a wonderful phenolic compound. Now, if you mix, you're not getting enough of that. I'll give you one more example
Yeah.
in a macro world. Now, imagine I have to climb Chamundi, 1,000 steps, and then I get darshan of Chamundi Devi. Okay, 1,000 steps. So now I climb 300 steps and come back. Next day, I will climb 300 more, another 300. 3 days or 4 days, I have climbed 1,200 steps. But have I got a darshan of?
No.
No. So that's what it is for you if you keep mixing things. So you're doing this bit, that bit. Do one thing. So eat in nature. All products are good. They have their own distinct wellness. So eat things separately.
So only one fruit,
One fruit,
one grain,
one grain, one dal,
one sabji.
one sabji. But now we are told 30 dishes,
Yeah.
40 dishes.
Yeah.
That's absolutely not scientific.
Because modern diet says that more color your plate has, the more colorful your plate is, the better it is. That's
Yeah,
wrong.
we have colors in our grains, not your plate. Your food over a longer period of time you need to plan. So in fact, you talked about color. Color of brown top is greenish. Color of foxtail millet is yellowish. Color of kodo is pinkish. Color of little millet is ash color. Color of barnyard is white. Color of ragi is almost pitch brown. Blackish almost. Great millet is whitish, and bajra is greenish ash color. So you have these wonderful colors in the grain stable food itself. So why are you eating only rice, 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 rice?
And causing diabetes.
Everything. Diabetes, BP, heart block, all the overall homeostasis of the blood is the cause of all these modern day diseases. So the doctors are not telling eliminate rice, instead they are giving you tablets. So if you just eliminate rice, wheat, and sugar and milk, you have covered almost 90% of diseases.
Yes.
And that's what we have been telling. As simple as that.
So, what are some of the patients that you have healed through just millets?
I have not healed. The patients have healed themselves.
Can you give us some example
Oh,
to inspire?
thousands of type 1 diabetes, blood cancer, type 2 diabetes, lakhs of people.
Without medicines, only millets.
Yeah. Just millets. Keep eating and take whatever medicines you are taking, slowly and steadily get rid of them. And you continue to eat millets, you will never fall sick, basically. But you got to be very strict that you should not adulterate yourself in between this so-called corporate and modern urbanized people. Cheating day. One day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, so recently I learned that in our traditional culture, there was no concept of Sunday
Sunday
and breakfast.
breakfast.
So
Yeah,
this is the
that's
new
what
thing now.
that's
Cheat
what I'm
meal.
cheat.
So how should we be eating through the day? Like, what should the frequency of the meals be?
Twice a day is good enough.
Okay.
But now we are all are used for 3 times. Your system is trained, whether you like it or not, it will ask for food.
Yeah.
So maybe eat 3 days, 3 times a day, millets to start with. And over a period of 6 months to 1 year, you can easily fall into 2 times a day. Very easy. So that way your consuming the materials also comes down, and conserving always leads to sustainability. So you just eat enough, not overdo things. So the best meal is in the morning after sunrise. There is a good saying in Kannada, Telugu, all of course it's from Sanskrit. One who eats once is yogi, one who eats twice is bhogi, one who eats 3 times is
Rogi.
rogi, and one who eats 5 times, I don't know what to call.
True.
So that's the way it should be. So if you can evolve yourself into eating once a day, is the best, not only for you, for whole planet Earth.
Only for adults or even children?
No, growing up kids, these rules do not matter.
Okay.
You can eat 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, because the baby's mother feeds the baby whenever the baby cries. So as you grow up, this culture has to be built up. So this is natural. But then we are fallen into the trap of corporatized food and urbanization, and we are being taught the commercial way of doing things. So when you eat pizza anytime you
Yeah.
like, keep it in the fridge, at
Yeah.
night 12 o'clock you eat. What nonsense is this?
Re-
Absolutely unscientific.
Refrigeration of food is not good?
Absolutely not good.
What happens when we refrigerate?
What happens is most often there is oxygen is removed. So anaerobic systems start taking over. You see, even if you keep things in the fridge, things rot over a period of time. It may take more time, but then the fermentation processes are not aerobic. It's all mixed, aerobic, anaerobic, and all kinds of things. So you never know what kind of metabolites that are left out, and which can be very dangerous, cancer causing. Our organs can be blocked, the functioning can be. So the disease generation can be from a different dimensions altogether.
So if we have leftovers, sir, or if we have vegetables, then where do we, or fruits even for that matter, how do we store them in a cool place?
Yeah, there are a lot of different methods. First of all, don't eat
Yeah. Leftovers.
leftovers. plan plan to make things fresh. That's the best thing. You can keep 1 or 2 days. Don't keep it for longer period.
These days, people have double door refrigerators.
Yeah,
It's just growing.
No, they are walking in refrigerators.
Really? I didn't know this.
Yeah, and in fact, they have cold rooms. They are storing for 5 months, 6 months. Then they are distributing it to the things.
What are some of the other kitchen utensils that are harmful and we should get rid of?
Yeah, as a family, when you are living, the best way to cook is in the mud pots, because the temperature and pressure are not increased at the same time. When you cook in a mud pot, you don't increase the pressure. Even the lower layers of food is not experiencing the pressure of the top layer, because the pressure is released through the micropores that are available. So when you do it in the steel vessel or aluminum vessel, is by nature not good for you. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, because aluminum leaks and then it can cause cancer for you. Okay, that's apart. Whatever, whether aluminum or steel, there is no pores, micro pores that
correct.
allow the pressure to be released. So you are increasing the temperature and pressure. It's called normal temperature and pressure rule in physics. That is, say, imagine you are going up in the Himalayas, the pressure is less and the temperature is less. So what happens? The oxygen doesn't stick to your lungs. It's a physiological process. It should happen naturally. Doesn't happen. The same way, a food material, now you put it in a cooker and increase the temperature, increase the pressure. The opposite will happen. Na? So it's going to die. Everything is going to change. Just little bit of variation doesn't allow a physiological process to happen naturally.
Correct.
Here you are increasing temperature to 100 degrees. What I mean is not oil, just water boils at 100 degrees. That means you are heating up to 100 degrees and then putting a pressure. That means it is going to increase 3 to 4 more times temperature value wise, the effect. So you are spoiling the material
Of the food.
of the food. And so you want to eat that. I mean, so if you cook it in the natural mud pot, you have no such problems at all.
But how about cleaning? Cleaning the mud pot?
Cleaning is the easiest. You just put some soil, I mean mud, then take coconut fiber, clean it with water, put it in the sun.
Oh, that coconut husk you mean?
Coconut
Husk.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Coconut husk and the mitti is good, but keeping it in the sun is very important. Mud pot.
Once it's not in use.
Yeah. once
Okay.
in a while. When you clean it up
Okay.
before you reuse again, that makes sure you have no bacteria and all that.
I noticed, sir, you're carrying this copper bottle. When we walked in, we offered sir a plastic bottle,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
but it was turned down very vehemently, and sir has
Of
this
course, of course. I
copper
carry
bottle.
my copper bottle cleans up not only the toxic materials, including pathogenic virus, bacteria. They're all dead in a matter of 3 to 5 hours. So whenever I travel, also I carry this. I put my water. Even if say I don't have water, and then you give me this plastic water, I put it here. So even the plastic nanoparticles are removed by this copper plate that is there inside. So the water is free of that. So now I take that and then put tamarind juice or lemon juice for 10 to 15 minutes and I clean that also. So that's how I manage to get pure water. This is the easiest and best method. Simple, straightforward.
Once we take that water and then we store it in a copper vessel for say about 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 to 5
Okay.
hours. Overnight also you can keep.
Okay, and we
Yeah.
can clean it with, let's say,
With-
salt and lemon. Works, no?
Lemon juice
Or tamarind.
tamarind juice.
Okay.
And if you don't have both, you can even have gooseberry juice. I mean,
Okay.
any organic acids, they're called organic acids. Even mango, kacha mango also can clean.
Acha.
I mean, any sour acids, even vinegar, uh, acetic acid also can clean. But lemon juice is freely available. I mean, not free, cheap, and you can get anywhere you can get. So when I travel, I am staying in hotel. I just go to the kitchen, ask them to give a lemon, and I put it in there. And after 2 3 hours, I clean it up again, fill my water.
And it's nice and shiny. It's not like that blackish.
Another we
tinge.
keep cleaning.
Okay. How often should you be cleaning it with the
Once in
lemon?
24 hours.
Okay. So you want to take a break? You want to use the
No,
restroom?
I
No?
eat millets, so
Okay.
I don't need a break.
Nice.
You need to, please, you can go.
No, even I eat millets.
Yeah, but
No,
you are eating
unsoaked
wrongly.
True that. Sir, I have a rapid fire segment for you,
Yeah, this is podcast characteristics.
providing traditional information through modern methods.
Something or the other. Something is better than nothing.
Correct.
Yeah. Doing the right thing is more important.
Ji. I'm quoting you. I do not drink tea and coffee, and I'm preventing global warming.
Yes.
What is so wrong with tea and coffee?
You're opening up a big box. Anyway, let's do it. So, where are the coffee tea grown?
Areas? Assam and hilly areas? Yeah.
That's the word. Hilly
Yeah.
areas of the world. All over the world, tea estates and coffee estates are there because they need a particular weather pattern, watery, moisturous things. That means if right now 43% of mountainous areas are occupied by coffee and tea estates all over the world. And what was existing before is wonderful forests. Why were forests there? How does a river take its origin? Through the mountainous areas. You take any river in the world, it comes from the mountainous areas. When the body of water falls as rain, it is going through the hilly areas. While going through, it is absorbed and then underground water table is made. Who makes that happen? It is this huge tree richness, the roots of various tiers of plant systems. So wherever there is rain, now the rain is not running the water. It is being soaked. And so a mountain is now reserve of water. And the rainy season is gone. Now the summer comes or cold weather. Then the water now seeps out of the mountain. And that's how a river is generated. So much so that the river flows 365 days. Now you have in the last 40, 50 years, in the name of coffee and tea, destroyed these cycles. So who is creating global warming?
Tea and coffee.
You drinking tea and coffee. Because you fellows are drinking tea and
Sir,
coffee.
I don't drink tea
No,
and
no,
coffee.
okay, okay. Not you. You mean not you.
Sure.
Whoever drinks coffee and tea are creating this cycle.
Yes.
And now you say environmentalists, we plant trees, this and all. You don't need to do anything. Just don't drink coffee and tea. You will vanish the global warming.
Internally, sir, how does.
Internally, how bad you be after drinking coffee and tea is a different issue.
But is it bad?
It is very bad.
But people say tea is medicine.
No, not at all. Because it has caffeine. Caffeine is an alkaloid, which, as a secondary and tertiary reaction, makes your nerves so much weak that many people have got tremors in their
Yes.
system. So, not only that, your neurons of nephrons, that means nephrons means the kidney tissue and the neurons, that coordination vanishes, and many people have no control over their urinary system. They keep waking up in the night once in 2 hours, once in 3 hours. They disturb their sleep, and once you disturb, so you have more diseases. So don't drink coffee and tea. Be happy.
Perfect.
Once in a while, you want to drink. Okay, I mean, I have nothing against people once in a while. I mean, every day, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. In India, tea is
Why
like a
in
religion.
America, Europe, they are always having their coffee mugs.
Yeah.
Throughout the day, they are drinking.
Yes.
In India, once in 3 hours you drink, they are drinking all the time.
How much water is needed for consumption? Because we keep hearing this, especially in ads, that you should drink a lot of water. It gives glow to your skin, it gives life to the system, it's an elixir of life. Is a lot of water needed? How much water is needed?
Maybe 2 to 3 liters of water is good enough every day.
Okay.
But your body has to be primed. That means you should not weigh, measure, and drink. It should regulate itself. So you do certain things that make your body regulate water consumption. So what it means is that salt balance comes from exercises because you need to sweat. Only sweating is balancing your salts. So do enough physical exercise. In fact, that's the only reason why you need physical exercise, salt balance. And
Okay.
if salt balance is not right, your heart doesn't have the electric signals rightly coordinated. So even if you eat well, do this, do that, all that, if your salt balance is not right, your heart doesn't pump properly. Though your blood is thin, that's why everyone needs to walk and sweat. So if you walk 45 minutes to 1 hour, you start sweating, even in Himalayas.
What happens, sir, when we drink water directly, let's say from our RO filters?
Yeah, RO filters is another dimension you are adding. You are removing the salts that are necessary for us. So 100 ppm to 200 ppm, the TDS is called, total dissolvable salts. The RO water has absolutely no salts, maybe 20 or 30 it shows. So that means when you drink that water, the salts in your living cells are just being rushed out. So the salt imbalance you will create, and you'll create more diseases. Of course, it is trying to balance again this. It will take more time for you to experience disease when you drink RO water.
Hmm.
But when you drink regular water with copper cleaning, it's good for you.
My next question was, why do you call walking as the best exercise?
This is what? This is the reason. And of course, it has a lot of free bees. And when you walk, your muscles, your everything gets, I mean, each and every living cell gets exercise only through walking, not any special gym, this and that. That can only train 1 or 2 parts of your body. But then when you walk, everything, starting from your nails to hair, get exercise.
Is it better than running?
Of course, of course,
Walking is better than running.
of course. I mean, there is no two things about walking is the best exercise for human system. Nothing else. If you walk every day 2 hours and nothing else you need to do, no exercise is necessary for you
For 2 hours every day.
every day. Of course, 2 hours people may find it very difficult, but according to me, as you grow old, you should walk more. So if you are between 60 and 70, you should be working minimum of 1.5 hours. And if you are between 70 and 80, you work for 2 hours. So the balance is maintained because we lose that physiological balances faster as you grow old. So when you walk, the balance comes back. It is the salts that make things happen because it is the electric signals that are very important for every living cell to work. And salt balance at the end of the day is the most crucial thing. I'm coming to the last aspect or
Sure.
whatever, is the sunrise.
Sunrise.
Sunrise. The sunrise has 12 different frequencies. Each frequency has connection with your internal endocrine systems, pituitary, thymus, thyroid, adrenal, like this, and circadian clock. I mean, time zones are known to each and every cell through these wonderful frequencies. That's why when you have Surya Namaskara, you have a sloka. Pushna, Aditya, Bhanu, Ravi, all these names, and Arka, Bhaskara is the last. Arka is that orange color when the sun god is coming up in the horizon. And after 5 6 minutes, he becomes white, and that is Bhaskara. So it is that Prabhas, Ushas, Aruna, Bhaskara. These four sets of different frequencies, 12 frequencies. So one of the frequencies required for vitamin D, complex molecule to be made under your skin, without which 108 biological processes do not take place properly. So that's why sunrise time sunlight is so important for many living things on this planet, and we are one among them. And that's why in northern hemisphere, people who do not have the sun exposure get mentally depressed
Oh.
because most of these transmitters, transporters, and happy so-called happy
Hormones.
hormones, that's a wrong. There's nothing like happy hormone. Some hormone that makes you feel good. Okay, so this is of course common man's language. Happy hormones, all these depend on
Sunlight.
sunlight.
So, how should we expose ourselves to the sun?
So just get up before sunrise, 10 15 minutes before, finish your defilling yourself, because with lot of mala in your body, your systems do not function properly. So get out of,
Empty the
empty
bowels.
the bowls, and then go and soak yourself in the Prabhas, Ushas, Aruna, and Surya. I mean this. So if your place sun is rising at 6:15, now in Bangalore it is at 6:14. So 15 20 minutes before you be outside. Of course, Bangalore fellows are so bad because you have all apartments, you know, sun. So you find yourself in an open place.
And not only that, so people are sleeping.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
in fact, cancer also can be cured because the supervisors become, the control comes into your living system. So to cure blood cancer, we have this as an elementary, mandatory for people to be in the sunrise time sunlight. And we have healed many of these so-called blood cancer patients.
Just with sunlight.
Not just with sunlight. I mean, it's
Okay.
one of the mandatory
Okay.
aspect you need.
Sure.
Of course, you also need kodo, millet. You need some other antioxidants to clean up. It's a whole thing.
Sure.
It's not one thing.
Sure.
See, all the time now we have talked. All these are essential elements. So ultimately, what we are trying to build the content and material for healthy and peaceful living. It's not one thing. It's not millets alone.
Yes.
It's not just the acids alone. It's not just the
Sunrise.
sunrise alone. It's not just the
Water.
water alone. No, it's all together.
Yes.
So we depend on so many other parameters and other living things.
Yes.
Because it is the plants that are making this happen, and it is the microbes that are under the leaves of these plants that are making things happen. It is the gut microbes that are making things happen. So which is, it's not one thing.
Yes.
This system is as a whole. So we, by breaking it into pieces and understanding it by pieces, you are only disturbing your holistic living. So it is, so when you are doing Surya Namaskara, the blood flows in a different way. If I just sit in the sunrise time is okay.
Hmm.
But then if I do the particular asana, so the blood flows.
Okay.
And that's why that Surya Namaskara is very important. In the same way, when you are emptying your bowls, you sit like this and try to empty your
Yeah.
bowls. It is not getting, because you are
On a commode seat.
your
Huh.
anus is not working. Can I go to that?
Sure,
you
sure,
this
please.
is- so this is how you balance. The anus is fully open. This is Malasan. Very simple. And our ancestors have taught this is the way you need to, and it's named as Malasan. Only then the Mala is completely removed. Your bowels move properly. So we don't know how to eat, we don't know how to shit now.
True that.
So we actually tell people at least learn 4 or 5 asanas, like Mandukasana, which makes your stomach well. We need to start educating our kids from very young age the importance of all these systems and
Yeah.
getting up in the morning, rising sun. I'm not expecting everyone to go and do tomorrow morning Surya Namaskar, but at least they should be informed that there is this kind of systems and we live on this planet and we need to absorb all the right moments and right micro, macro, and energy levels in a right way.
I think at least by introducing all this in our textbooks, don't you think it starts
Well,
there?
we have been spoiled. I mean, our systems are spoiled. Our educators, educating system itself is in real danger. I mean, we don't know what we're doing, basically. We're all making robots
Yes.
to function for corporate fellows. So if future of human race has to live in peace, these two processes have to be unbuilt. So you have to de-urbanize, you have to decorporatize food. These two things are very
What is
important.
deurbanization of food?
No, decorporatization of food, de-urbanization of humans. We are conglomerating
Yeah.
into small spaces.
Like Bangalore. And you're living in Mysore.
I'm living in Mysore. In fact, I was offered many jobs in Bangalore. I'm happy here. Please don't disturb me. And if possible, we need to go to smaller places. Of course, Mysore is beautiful. We are fine as of now. I hope it doesn't get urbanized more and more.
Yeah.
And to tell you, Bangalore is protecting us.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm happy the way the Bangalore is, we are protected. Well, Mysore, the urbanization is stopping because everyone wants to be in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Because it is very close,
Yeah.
Why worry about Mysore? People are all, I'm happy about it.
30% of the Indian population suffers from insomnia. What one tip do you have, sir, for better
I'm
sleep?
sorry, it is not 30%.
More than that?
I think it is 70%. Because insomnia is defined by these fellows very intelligently.
Oh,
Actually, I define it other way around. A fellow who sleeps at 10 o'clock should not get up till morning 5 o'clock. I mean, he should not just get up. That is real sleeping. So, in this definition, I think 60 to 70% people are not sleeping.
true. True.
Insomnia, they think is that, oh, you cannot get sleep at all. You fall asleep, roll around the whole night, you are not sleeping. Morning hours, sometime you doze into sleep. Yes. That's not insomnia. Any fellow who gets up in between 2, 3 times is also insomnia, whether it is for urination, whether it is for this or for that. A healthy fellow should sleep at, say, whatever time he sleeps, 6 to 8 hours, he should not get up, period.
What is that one tip, sir, you'll have?
Depends on the time zone you live. If you are a young boy, girl, you run around, do the things, your body should be tired. So as you grow old, you do not run around, you cannot play, you do this, you cannot do that. And when I was a kid, I used to climb trees, jump the compounds, and no one bothers. I mean, now if I am old, I'll jump into other house. That should be the way actually. Your body should get tired, and we are creating systems where your body is not tired at all. Even young boys and girls are with this
Yeah.
tablets and all this, they are not working. Earlier, if to watch TV, you used to go and switch on and
Yeah.
switch off and change the
Yeah.
channels. Now you have everything
Yeah.
in that, and that's wrong. So a human race should not be going towards that side. We should train ourselves to be having enough physical activity. So as you grow old, that's why I said you keep walking for 2 hours, 3 hours. More the age, the better you are. Balance, balance, balance. So physically, you should be working, movement. Working means whatever it is. If it yields you some result, it is work. And it doesn't need to yield anything. Just make your
Correct.
body tired, not fatigued,
Yeah.
tired. So keep repeating the movements as much as you can. That's why earlier days, even if there is a punishment, they used to say,
Yeah.
give 21 times, 48
Yeah.
times.
Are dry fruits healthy?
Yeah, in its true sense, they're okay, but the way they are presented to the human race is all processed. So
All dry fruits are
all
processed?
dry fruits. Drying is not done naturally. So
Oh.
if I have a badami tree in my house, I dry myself in my, even if I have apartment on top of the apartment, that dry fruit is okay. But what you are buying in the market is absolutely no.
Sanitary napkins and diapers are not good for us,
Of
correct?
course, they are not at all good for you.
What are the alternatives? Like if I'm on my period, if I don't use a sanitary napkin, what is a more sustainable solution?
That is, of course, good cotton cloths. Of course, I am not a fellow who says don't use diapers and all that. When emergency requirement, once in a while you can use. But then the best alternative is to have a gadget which can absorb and does not have the unnatural fibers entering into your body. Especially kids and menstruating women are now using the plastic
Yes.
polymer based systems that can cause a lot of problems. So what I suggest is you can have the top layer natural cloth. So use the diapers whatever you're using, use a natural cloth piece, cotton piece
On top of
on
that.
top of it, so that 2 3 cotton pieces you make it ready, and then you can throw away that.
Okay.
Or you can wash them and put it in the sun. First of all, when you have menstrual cycle, you should not be traveling.
Really?
So now urban fellows,
Oh.
no, I have to do
Yeah.
this, I have to do this, show all these big advertisements. Oh, I can still play shuttle when I have. What nonsense is that? Don't play shuttle. Keep house in the house, take rest. It's meant for enjoying yourself.
Anything, sir, you want to say?
No.
You're a wealth of information.
Yeah, you can ask questions. I can come up with answers. But as such, I am interested in propagating the awareness about millets, and millets being the right food, superfood, and the only food, staple food, that can give us sustainably long run. I mean, thousands of years we had lived, and we can live thousands more years, and does not spoil the environment, does not cause any danger to any other living forms. And let me tell you simply in one word, the most sattvic food available on this planet is millets, and most sustainable, most healthy, and replenishing. So it is the food of the future. You name any adjective, it is only for millets, nothing else. Planet has to be saved, it is millets. So unless you stop producing these negative things, rice, wheat, sugar, milk, all these corporate foods, and fall back into natural foods that are millets, you have no future for human race.
Mm.
So that grave situation we have created, and we are not even aware of it.
Absolutely.
We're not even aware. This is called digging the pit under your feet,
Yes.
and you do not know you're doing it.
And sir, one last thing for the audience. People, don't know usually कि millets को कैसे खाते हैं, कैसे पकाते हैं. They think millets, how do you eat millets? But you can literally make anything out of
Anything.
millets.
Yeah, in that context, I want to mention Millet Magic Dr. Sarala. These
Okay.
3 words, if you punch on YouTube, you'll get host of cooking recipes. You can keep your phone and cook everything delicious, tasty.
From biryani to pizza to momos to
I
everything.
don't like pizza. The cheese is very bad. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the nature of itself is bad. You can find
Okay.
alternative cheese,
Okay.
plant based, welcome. Pizza base can be millets. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, so you can cook everything. And Dr. Sarala happens to be my daughter. So I have one wonderful wife, Dr. Usha. So we 3 have been working based millets and spreading awareness.
Thank you so much, sir. I cannot be grateful enough. You have such a beautiful energy, and this conversation was so engaging. And I'm so glad that you were so, no holds barred. You were all there, and you have so much information available for free. That's the beauty.
Of
When I
course.
asked you for your books, you said everything is available for free.
It's free.
So,
It's free. It has to be free.
yeah.
It has to be free. Knowledge should not be for sale.
Yes.
It is meant for just sharing with people.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. Namaskaram.
Namaste.
In case you'd like to be a part of our online and in-person yoga, diet and spiritual programs, you can join our WhatsApp group below, where we post all our upcoming programs and give free tips on health, diet and lifestyle.